Boss Hog. I have Emily Harrison and Meghan Ireland joining me live from the distillery. How's it going, ladies?
It's going great. Nice to see you.
Hey, it's great to see you all too. How's everything at the WhistePig Farm?
It's great. It's busy. We're keeping busy, that's for sure. But beautiful fall weather for a couple more days at least. So yeah, still some leaves on the trees out there. Nice to see.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to being back there with you all very soon. This is the 8th edition of the Boss Hog. I want to make sure I say this name right. Say it for me.
It's Lapulapu.
Lapulapu. It's just yes. Lapu twice.
Yeah. Yes.
Lapu Pacific. It's Boss Hog 8, number 8, and I'm going to go ahead and unbox this here. I know you all have been. I see you've been sipping on that a little bit. That must mean
we've dug into ours.
That must mean it's good stuff. So this is my first sip. Will be with you all as I crack into this. Tell us what we have here. What is this? What makes it so different this year?
So this is our 8th edition of Boss Hog. It's a continuation of Magellan's journey from the Atlantic. He runs into Lapulapu, who defeats him, and it's Lapulapu's Pacific. The Boss Hog is nearly 18 years old, the liquid is, and it's been finished in Philippine rum barrels, 2 different barrels, one holding rum for 7 years and the other held rum for 10 years. So double finish again, both Philippine rums, absolutely delicious.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to wait till you all have a little in your glass as well. Again, it's a Philippine rum barrel. And the whiskey itself wasn't 2 whiskeys. It was the same whiskey that went in each barrel for a little separate time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is just the aroma is divine. Cheers, ladies. I'm so glad to be tasting this with you. And always one of my favorite releases. I know it's one of the most anticipated releases of the whole whiskey business. That is divine. That rum, that rye. I mean, just on that first sip, it's really just so bold with flavor. This is amazing.
Yeah, so you really get some of those, and I think aroma, especially some of those sweeter notes coming through from the rum, those kind of molassesy notes on the nose,
as well as some of the more tropical notes, a little bit of banana, lemon.
Oh yeah, that tropical, and that linger is just it's like that tropical linger. Just it's big on the palate.
And then I think it's also super important that we're still staying true to our rye. Like it's definitely still a big spicy rye finish that kind of holds and lasts at the end.
Oh, that beautiful balance of the rye, of the spice, all the elements that make WhistlePig so special. And again, 18 years old. This is that same rye that we know so beautifully at every other.
Just shy of 18, but yeah, it's the same. It's the same rye as last year. It's just finishing its journey.
Yeah. So the base liquid itself is actually the same as what was in Boss Hog 7.
Yeah.
Oh, you all have done just so extremely well once again. I mean, last year with Magellan's Atlantic, I tried it and I was thinking this is one of the best whiskeys I'd had in years, just of any whiskey, rye, bourbon. Really was something so splendid, and it had been called one of the best whiskeys ever. I know by more people than just me. But this just takes it to the next level. The sweetness, the linger, it's a flavored journey. You start one place, you go another. There's something I'm getting. There's a really beautiful, like almost honeyed note on the end as well.
Yeah, kind of those sweeter. I think that's the sugar really kind of coming through from those rum barrels. The wood because it was in those rum barrels for between 7 and 10 years, the wood really absorbed a lot of those rum notes, and allowed it to finish into the whiskey.
All right. Now, every year, I know it's a little different on top. What's happening here this year?
Yeah. So with this guy, we are honoring Lapulapu, who is the Filipino hero who conquered Magellan, and kept the Spanish from taking over the Philippines for an additional 40 years or so. So, it's a Filipino hero who we are honoring. as the journey across the world went.
And it's always different every year. We even went to the wonderful place in Vermont that does the pewter tops.
Yeah,
That's part of the
Danforth.
experience.
Yeah, so these toppers are made by Danforth,
Yeah.
a local shop. Makes them every year. We change up our toppers every year, and they crank them out for us. And yeah, it's a nice touch they have with them.
It really
Nice
is.
to have a local business that we can work with and help us to really customize the Boss Hog bottle every year.
I love that. Part of the experience, again, for those of you in the industry that have been picking single barrels or that think about picking single barrels, when you get to the WhistlePig farm, you get to see all these beautiful places that you all work with, like Danforth. And I know you're beginning to have more spirit stores, more folks that are in the business come and pick some barrels. You're opening that back up right now.
Yeah, so we have single barrel buyers are coming back on the farm, which is great. And we get to show off Vermont and our distillery here, at least to some extent, post-COVID-ish.
Post-mid-COVID.
So it's been really nice to have people back on the farm to at least some extent, and to be able to show off places like Danforth and some of our other local partners too. Simon Pierce, AO Glass, both work on our 18-year with us.
Run Amok, working on our maple syrup.
Yeah, to show off these other Vermont companies along with ourselves. So,
yeah.
It's good to have more friends. We can't wait to get back there and be with you on Vermont. And again, we are tasting the new Boss Hog number 8 Lapu Pacific here with Emily and Meghan of WhistlePig. Take a moment, like this video, share it. Tell us below if you've tried any of the Boss Hogs. Definitely try this, and we've tried them all. They always are it's so unique, so special. No two each year. Well, from year to year, they've been so different. Everything from cognac barrels, Calvados, the teakwood last year. This one's so special. Your first time. This is one of your first times you all played with rum barrels on a Boss Hog, right?
Yeah, so definitely the first time on a Boss Hog. That's kind of one of our 5 promises. We call the 5 promises of Boss Hog, and one of them being that we always will make sure it's a unique and incredibly special product that we're putting out there. So yeah, first time for rum for us, and we're really proud and excited about it. We think it turned out great. So excited for everyone else to be able to drink it. It's hitting shelves right now, so I can't wait to share it with everyone.
Now, how do you all decide how you got, again, one was in for a week, whiskey's in for a week, the other barrel in for, you said a month?
10 days.
10 days. So a week, 10 days.
Then 10 days.
How did you decide how many days for each barrel? Talk about that a little bit.
So for that process, Meghan and we all do a lot of sampling. It's a great part of the job, honestly. But Meghan and one of our distillers, Mitch, pull samples on a daily basis, and we just sample. And we normally for the first barrel we overfinish, and then we backtrack and find that sweet spot. So we're looking for a way to both highlight the barrel that we're finishing in, as well as the rye, because we always come back to rye as our core product and what we're just trying to accent.
You don't want to overdo it, but you want to bang enough of that flavor on what you're accenting, but you don't want to overdo it. And it always is this perfect balance.
Yeah. So it's a lot of sampling on our part. Daily sampling of that first barrel to find the sweet spot.
A lot of experimentation. Now, again, this is a Philippine rum barrel. And the Philippines are known for rum. A few of the brands produce almost more rum than any place in the world, just because that area of the world a lot of it goes there. A lot of it's exported. Talk about the choice on the Philippine rum barrel. What led you to that?
So part of it, right, is Magellan's story. We had Magellan's travel last year, and we knew that was where his story had ended for him. And it would be really cool and interesting from a story standpoint. But from a blending standpoint, the Philippine rum has a sugarcane specific to their area, right? That makes their rum unique and adds some great flavors that a lot of people within the US aren't really messing around with the Philippine barrels nearly as much. And we believe that sugarcane from there adds a bit of a different flavor and a bit of a different note to the barrels.
Yeah.
It
You'll
does.
also notice that
Yeah.
the age statements that we said on the rum, that 7-year and that 10-year, those are pretty long age statements for rum. And we found those barrels interesting and unique because of that long finishing time really enriched the barrels with that rum flavor, let it really seep in and mingled it with like the unique vanilla and caramel notes that you get with both rum as well as with the barrels. The barrels are also a high toast, which is interesting to us. Maybe just to us. I'm a bit of a barrel nerd, but the high toast means that it's like those sugars in that barrel have caramelized even more. You always talk about the char on the barrel, but you never really talk about that toasting process. And the toasting is what actually like caramelizes the sugar in the wood so that it can be absorbed by the alcohol. So high toast. We're getting some really sweet, interesting barrels here.
Yeah, the toast, everything, the sugars. I've had bourbons, rye whiskeys that have been finished in rum barrels, and there's some great ones out there, but this is something so beyond what I've ever had. I mean, the richness, the age of the whiskey, what you've done here, it's so well-rounded, it's so balanced, but yet so full of flavor, those creamy notes. I mean, it reminded me of tropical, but also, just hints of tropical, just a little bit of those, not to put it too in the cocktail or too much sugar in it, but some of those hints of tiki cocktails, but just so elegant in that nature and creaminess. It's just, there's so much going on here.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what we were able to really get with the older barrels, right? Having those come from a 7 and a 10-year rum allowed those rums to really mature, and that allowed us to pull out some of those flavor profiles that you're talking about there.
Yeah. Okay, so great just by itself. What would I've of course have had a few sips of this, but you've had quite a few, as you've been experimenting. What would you pair this with there at the WhistePig Farm or anywhere? What would you recommend for a pairing?
Oh gosh, I would pair it with dessert personally, but
yeah, I think some of those sweeter notes allows it to go and to pair well with dessert or to mix into some of your pies for Thanksgiving, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some sort of like banana foster or something like that.
Yes.
Right?
This would be beautiful with banana fosters. I agree. Something like that for your Thanksgiving feast. Bring this out at the end with the cheesecake, banana fosters.
Yes.
Or just a nice tray of cheese. I mean, this could be perfect. A great way to end Thanksgiving. Could be a great way to begin Thanksgiving and end it. Just have it all the way through.
Just it matches with all the courses.
Exactly.
Let's hope we have enough for the whole family, because I'm definitely going to want more of this. This is so lovely. And again, so many things you've been working on. You also have been working on several other one-off releases that are available on your website. There's even a mezcal barrel, isn't there? Is that right?
Yeah, we've done a couple different single finishes this year. It's been a lot of fun to innovate and mess around with those, including a mezcal and a sotol. We also had a Mexican beer barrel that we finished in that turned out really, really unique and interesting. So those single finish and that innovation is something that we're always trying to push here and continue to do.
Yeah, you'll see more of that sort of stuff.
Are there any, and I'll put up the website, are there any of these even left? Are there a few of these left on the website?
I think there's a couple of them left
Maybe
on the website, but don't quote me. I don't check it constantly.
What was did you all have a favorite of those? Did you have a favorite of the experiments that you did? The innovations?
So my favorite of the whole year has been an IPA beer that we finished in. I think I've shown it to pretty much everyone who's come out to the farm. I saved a bottle behind the bar behind me, and I just pour it out for everyone because it's one of those finishes that it truly makes the whiskey transform into something else. So people are tasting it, they're not understanding what it is, and
It's always fun to make them guess.
Yeah, it's always fun to make them guess, but that's just what innovation can lead to, is weird, quirky stuff like that, as well
That
as
sounds so good.
great stuff like this.
Right.
Did you have a favorite, Meghan?
I think my favorite from this past year was probably a triple sec barrel we did.
Oh, nice.
That brought out some really cool and interesting flavors, and not necessarily what I was expecting with it.
Right.
Which is always fun too, right? It's experimentation. It's these single finishes for a reason.
Yeah.
It's always fun. I mean, I love the experimentations you all do. Of course, the 10, the 12, the 15, all of these, the 18, the Boss Hogs, everything. Of course, the piggyback as well, the 6-year-old. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of people. I'm already seeing a lot of bars that I go to playing around with the 6-year-old to put in a cocktail. Of course, I've always loved putting the 10 in a cocktail as well. But the 6-year-old, of course, that maple old fashioned. Just made one last night with that maple old fashioned kit.
Yeah,
we can order as well. How about that? Do you think we'll be seeing a lot of that during the holidays?
Yeah, that piggyback is it's really picking up as like a bartender's whiskey, both at the bar and also at home. Like you said, it's great in a maple old fashioned. That's my favorite drink as well with that, actually, or a Manhattan. That's also great. Any of those old rye cocktails.
Yeah, it's definitely, you'll see more and more of it coming out on the shelves and at the bars throughout the holiday season here. Along with our maple syrup, we tap our own trees here on the farm. Yep. So we have a WhistlePig barrel-aged maple syrup that you'll start to see at some of the bars across the country to help the bartenders whip up the perfect Vermont maple old-fashioned.
And in the early days of I know the barrel-aged maple syrup, it was just in select places, but you're putting more and more of that maple syrup out. Again, it's maple syrup right from the farm that's been aged in used barrels from you all.
Yeah, people love that. I've had people drive up to the farm, and the only thing they're there for is to buy maple syrup from us. I'm like, we're a whiskey producer, but you're coming to us for maple syrup. But it's because it's just the perfect thing to put in a cocktail, and also on pancakes and just anything you want.
We tend to do it in our coffee in the morning here.
It's perfect. It's perfect in the coffee. It's perfect pancakes, whatever it might be, waffles. But in that maple old fashioned, just something to experiment with. Look for that more and more in your local bars. The other thing that I love that you all, I remember put out beginning of the holidays last year, were the piglets, the minis.
Yeah, what we refer to as our
3
piglets.
little pigs, but what are the piglets?
Yes, we'll have those coming back out again this year with our 10, our piggyback, and our 12-year-old in little 50 ml packages.
Way to try all 3 of those. It's so perfect way to try. You'll see those at liquor stores as well. Again, bourbonblog.com is the first to do a live tasting with our friends from WhistlePig of the Boss Hog VIII Lapulapu Pacific. This is divine, and it's in stores now, right? It's shipping this week. We'll see it closely.
It's been shipping for a couple of weeks, so we should be
able to find it. Pretty limited production on this always, right? Do we tell how many that are out there? Is there a?
Yeah, so we have 7,000 3-packs, 20. Sorry, I always do it in case counts here. Out in market, so 21,000 bottles, and that's it.
Fairly limited. You got to find it because they go quickly. It's beautiful, and of course, I've also been seeing. I know we talked about it a month or two ago. People on social media have loved the road stock. I love it. I think it's so interesting. It's so nuanced. That one's been so much fun to try too.
Yeah, that was a super fun project to work on. It was a cool story. I know you had you and Mitch talked about it a couple months ago on here, but we love trying new things and doing different partnerships like that. So that one was a lot of fun for our distillery team here, and it's an incredibly great whiskey with some super interesting flavor profiles with a wine and a beer finish.
Yeah, the nuances of that are just with the beer and the wine, and it's just it's so special. And I think it's still out there a little bit. If you look for it, you might be able to find it.
Yeah.
What's so fun over the years to see what you all have grown is just more and more experiments. I mean, obviously the core is so beautiful, but the fact that we can talk about so many of these that we can find that they all go in different directions. I love that. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's one of the things we both love about working here. Is that we have our consistent core that everyone, that including us, loves, but we also get to push the envelope a little bit and experiment.
I love that. And you're joining us again there from the Vermont farm. You're in that over 100-year-old barn in that beautiful bar. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, looking up at the hay elevator and everything up there that we didn't redo.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Emily, Meghan, for joining us here on Bourbon Blog to taste this Boss Hog. Anything else? I mean, we've talked about so much. Anything else that I might have not mentioned that's coming up you want to mention, or any favorite cocktail to put your whiskey in that we didn't talk about?
No,
I think
that covers everything. Go get your Boss Hog. Go get your piggyback so you're not mixing your Boss Hog into your cocktail drinks, and have a fun holiday season. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Again, cheers from bourbonblog.com, and look forward to many more Boss Hogs ahead. Cheers, y'all.
Absolutely. Me too.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.